I've spent hundreds of nights on Jeep trails, from freezing mountain storms to blazing desert heat, and I've learned the hard way. Choosing the wrong tent can ruin your trip, or cost you thousands. So which is it? Rooftop tent or ground tent? Today, I'm putting my own gear to the test. No sponsors, just honest experience. The two of the most popular tents for Jeep campers. We'll break down the setup, comfort, costs, and more, so you can avoid the mistakes I made and pick the right tent for your next adventure. Today, we're putting them head to head. The ultimate Jeep tent showdown. I've got two incredible tents from Rome Adventure Co. The Vagabond XL and the Drifter ground tent. Look, I purchased both of these tents with my own money for multiple reasons. We're gonna put them through the ringer and talk about real world examples while breaking down the pros and cons for setup, cost, trail flexibility, and storage. So let's figure out which one of these tents is the right setup for your Jeep. Now, let's meet the contenders. In one corner, we have the Rome Adventure Co. Vagabond XL. This is your classic soft shell rooftop tent, and it's what a lot of people picture when they dream of overlanding. It's big, it's rugged, and it sits proudly up on top of that beautiful Jeep. And in the other corner, we have the Rome Adventure Co. Drifter. Now don't get it twisted, this is not your cousin's cheap pop-up tent from a big box store. The Drifter is seriously tough, a hub-style ground tent built for rapid setup and designed to handle the same kind of rugged adventures. By using these two premium tents from the same brand, we're making this a fair fight. It's not about quality, it's about the fundamental difference between sleeping on your roof versus the ground. I know there's a lot of outstanding tent manufacturers out there, so please leave me a comment below. Let me know what your experience has been. This is just the brand that I decided to go with. I love their quality, I love their construction, and I've been super happy with them. So let's get started. All right, first up, setup speed, because the last thing you want to do is fight with your tent after a long day on the trail, especially when it's getting dark. Speed. This is the Rooftop Tent's biggest sales pitch, right? With the Vagabond XL, you just unzip the heavy-duty cover, use the ladder to flip the tent open, pop up a few window pulls, and that's pretty much it. From cover off to ready to sleep, you're just looking at a few minutes. And the best part, it doesn't matter if the ground below you is rocky, sloped, or a muddy mess. Your bed is always perfectly flat and ready to go. So you think the ground tent gets smoked here, right? Well, the Drifter tent is surprisingly quick. Thanks to its hub design, the main body of the tent literally pops up into the shape in under a minute. It's wild. But that's just step one. You still have to find a reasonably flat, clear patch of ground, which can be a real challenge on a tight Jeep trail. And if there's weather, you gotta throw on the rain fly. Then you have to shake it down, especially if it's windy. And then potentially a cot or a sleeping pad, and obviously your sleeping bag, which same rules apply for the rooftop tent, but you get the idea. In a pure raw race against the clock, the rooftop tent wins every time. It's fast, it's simple, and it's just easier. There's no thought really that goes into it. But a tent like the Drifter tent, a hub style tent, is really not that far behind. Let's talk about that elephant in the room, money. This is where the debate can take a really sharp turn. A top-notch ground tent like the Rome Drifter will set you back anywhere from $500 to $600 at the time of making this video. And that's a very accessible price for a durable, feature-rich tent that can sleep the whole crew. But you might also want a cot or a sleeping pad, which can also increase the cost. The rooftop tent, that's a whole nother financial universe. It's a premium hotel like the Vagabond XL is a significant investment. Prices of rooftop tents can go anywhere from $1,500 well over $4,000. And that's not even the whole bill. You can't just throw a rooftop tent on the factory roof. You need a heavy-duty rack system that can handle all that weight. For many Jeeps, that could be another $500, $1,500, whatever it might be. Now, to be fair, rooftop tents really do hold their value well, but the clear winner here is going to be the ground tent. Because in reality, if you're just getting started or you're budget friendly or whatever their situation may be, you might not want to spend a lot of money. So you could probably buy a nice ground tent, a cot, a sleeping pad, a cooler, whatever else you need to get going, all for that cost of that rooftop tent. Okay, once that tent's set up, you actually gotta live in it. So which one offers a better night's sleep? As you can see, I got the windows, the ceiling, the door opened up here, a lot of open air, feels great in the hot sun. The rooftop tent's really killer feature is this built-in mattress. Now, I know a lot of other companies have their own version of whatever this is, but this specific one, the Vagabond XL, comes with a 3-inch high-density foam mattress that's way more comfortable than you'd expect. It's always there, it's part of the tent, it's always flat, you know, being up in the tent here really keeps you elevated off the cold ground, anything lumpy. The only thing you kind of got to do is make sure your vehicle is fairly in a level spot, but this is really cool. Like, you know, it's got these skylights here, you can see out at night, you can see the stars. It's really neat. This is one of the bigger tents on the market. It says it can sleep 4 people. I will tell you that when you see the inside of the Drifter tent, this is a lot smaller up here. It's just a smaller space, which it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Some people love a 2-person rooftop tent because it's maybe just them and whoever they're traveling with. I got the big one because I got kids and stuff, and we all can fit in here. It's cozy, but we can do it. And another thing, you know, you can't stand up in here to get dressed. You kind of got to sit down and do the whole wiggle around, pull your pants on and off and shirt and stuff. Whereas the ground tent, you certainly can stand up and you got a lot more room to move around. Reality is, this space is made for sleeping, not necessarily living. Now, the Drifter ground tent, this is me standing up in it. I'm 6 feet 4 inches tall, so plenty of room, standing in the middle. As you can see, I opened up all the windows just for kind of a comparison to what we just looked at with the rooftop. But really, there's awesome skylights in here too, awesome windows. I mean, really, this thing can get some pretty good open air too. This living space around here is a total game changer, especially if you live or you're traveling or adventuring out in an area where it does rain a lot, because you never know, a pop-up storm. These, actually both tents have pretty great rain flies, but there's an awesome rain fly that goes over this. But this gives you that cabin space so you can kind of sit in here and get yourself out of the rain and be a little more comfortable in those types of scenarios. One thing I really like about this tent from Rome Adventure Co. is they really thought about putting in a diesel heater pass-through. I'm sure there's other ones on the market that have it too, but this is just another bonus that I really like about this. Which really, doing the rooftop tent, totally fine. I can put it through one of the zippers. I have a little attachment, but having that option for both, because I do like to get out in the winter too and explore, having that is a great feature. This category is kind of a tie. Do you really want that premium mattress that's already built into a rooftop tent? Or do you want the freedom of a ground tent to sleep however you want? Okay, this next one, in my opinion, is really important to fellow Jeepers. It's that base camp effect. Because the majority of us don't just drive somewhere, sit, and just hang out. We like to go out and explore the things around us. And this is where the ground tent delivers a knockout blow. With the Drifter, you can set up your entire camp, tent, chairs, kitchen, all of it, and leave it there for days. Your Jeep is free. You can disconnect and go tackle that rock crawling trail, drive to a scenic overlook, or run to the nearest town for ice without even a second thought. This base camp model is really the core of why we explore. Now, unless you have your rooftop tent mounted to a trailer, the rooftop tent has a massive crippling disadvantage here. Your tent is attached to your vehicle. If you want to go anywhere, you have to completely pack up your sleeping quarters. That means folding the tent, zipping the cover, securing everything for just maybe a 30-minute drive. Then, you have to set it all up again when you get back. Now, I know I told you how quick and easy it was to set up, but doing it over and over again can get a little annoying. So doing that for days after days gets old pretty fast. It fundamentally changes how you travel, forcing you into the nomadic lifestyle where you move camp every single day, whether you want to or not. Now, for some people, this is exactly what you set out to do, so it might be an advantage here. For any Jeep owner who wants to set up a base camp and then go out and use their Jeep what it's actually built for, exploring, the ground tent is the clear winner in this category. Finally, let's talk about what it's like to live inside one of these tents. Now, we all know Jeeps are not known for a tremendous amount of cargo space. So where do you put your gear, your mattress, the tent itself? The rooftop tent's biggest advantage is that it lives outside the vehicle, freeing up an enormous amount of interior space for coolers, recovery gear, and clothes. On a long, packed-out trip, this is a huge deal. However, those benefits come with serious costs. The Vagabond XL, for example, weighs about 160 pounds, and all that weight is at the highest point of your vehicle. It raises the center of gravity, which you absolutely are going to feel if you're off-camber on trails. It also acts like a giant brick on top of your roof, negatively impacting the fuel economy and creating wind noise. anywhere on the highway. Now the ground tent, that can have the exact opposite problem, depending on how big it is. The downside to this drifter is it takes up a significant chunk of cargo space. But Rome did something brilliant here. The drifter comes with a durable, weather-resistant PVC road cover, the same kind that sits on your rooftop tent, allowing you to strap it to your roof if you want. While this tent does fit inside the Jeep, it all depends on how much other cargo you have as well as people. So now that whole roof rack cost might be starting to balance out. Put it inside to keep your roof clear and your miles per gallon high for daily driving. Or strap it to the roof for a big trip and save some interior space. This one's a little nuanced, but I think I'm going to give the edge to the ground tent here. It just offers a lot of freedom in different places you could store things or do whatever it is you want with your gear. So after all that, which tent is the winner? And to be totally honest with you, neither of them are. And that's why I own both. Now I understand not everybody can do that. So it's up to you to decide which one of these style tents is going to fit best for your adventures and what you love to do. Now I hope this video offered you some perspective on pros and cons on each tent versus one another. But hey, look, this debate is going to continue to roll on. This is just my 2 cents and what my experience has been and how it might help you make decisions as you move forward. So now it's time to hear from you. Leave me a comment below. I want to hear what style tent you run and why, because maybe you can change my perspective and teach me something that I don't know, and then maybe it'll help me down the road. This is the best way as a community that we can learn from each other. And if you found this comparison helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button, consider subscribing so you can follow along for many great real-world reviews as well as awesome trail adventures. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Path to Rome.